Hey everyone, Stephen here, autistic YouTuber, and welcome to Tostemac. Stereotypes. You know them, you hate them, and yet they just can't seem to go away, like an annoying little fly that keeps buzzing around during a nice outdoor picnic. It's unfortunate that we can't seem to get rid of these misconceptions for good, but there are ways to overcome them. Before we get too deep into that though, we need to understand some of the stereotypes that surround autism, how stereotypes in general get started, and when they start to become a big problem. A stereotype is a fixed, oversimplified, and often biased view or idea about a person or thing. This usually revolves around characteristics like age, race, gender, place of origin, disability, occupation, beliefs. The list goes on. These stereotypes can have more than one effect on a person. One of the most common is referred to as the horn effect, when someone has a negative judgment on someone else or something else based on a certain trait or characteristic about them. Staying on the subject of autism, some stereotypes with the horn effect include autistic people have no emotions or don't feel empathy. Not true. Many autistic people express and process emotions differently than neurotypicals. That doesn't automatically translate to we don't feel emotions at all. There is also one that says autistic people are aggressive and violent. Sometimes autistic people have outbursts and meltdowns, but that doesn't mean we're just aggressive and violent. It could be just a coping mechanism for if we're being overwhelmed, or maybe we're just having a bad day like anyone else would. Not only is this stereotype inaccurate, it's also harmful. How about the one that says autistic people cannot live successful lives? How about I reintroduce us to Billy West, Dan Aykroyd, Sir Anthony Hopkins, Susan Boyle, Daryl Hannah, Armani Williams, Ari Neiman. Need I say more? Autism does not stop someone from having a successful life. We have seen several cases in our time that proves this point. We just need to keep working on our skills, don't give up, and find the right opportunities. The effects of stereotypes with the horn effect include isolation, discrimination, bullying, not being given a fair chance, to even some of the worst situations, hate crimes. It should be clear that these stereotypes are not acceptable and need to be dispelled so that autistic people can be given the same opportunities, big or small, as everyone else. But Stephen, what about the stereotypes that have the opposite effect? You know, the ones that make you look good. Oh, you mean the halo effect? When we have an overall positive impression on someone based off a characteristic? Yeah, that one. This is also bad for two reasons. One, if the subject of a halo effect is making mistakes or is doing something they're not supposed to be doing, it could be harder to call them out on it, or at the very least, point out what they're doing wrong due to either pressure from peers or this unspoken notion that we absolutely need this person and we are willing to forgive and forget these missteps. The second reason is if the individual is trying to get help or assistance and is having a hard time getting it because people around them think they're so good, so talented, that they can't possibly need any help. By thinking this way, though, we blind ourselves to the hardships and struggles that the individual could be going through. For all we know, it could be a struggle for them just to keep their heads above the water. This could be especially difficult if, say, the person is trying to get an autism diagnosis, but the people around them just don't buy it. So don't be fooled by the glowing ring above their heads. You might not know the whole story. Here are a couple examples of stereotypes with the halo effect, beginning with this one. All autistic people are pure and innocent and never ever lie. Sorry, but I'm going to have to give a reality check on that one. While it's true that some autistic people tend to be more honest than some neurotypicals, that doesn't make all of us perfect little angels. We are still human. We are imperfect. We are flawed. We make mistakes and sometimes, poor choices, suffice to say. Moreover, what if we have a situation where someone is going through high anxiety or depression? They could hide behind a smile and be like, "Oh, I'm fine, everything's good." But if we take what people say at face value every single time, then autistic or not, we could be missing something important.
The other example? Autistic people are super geniuses with incredible special talents or savant skills.
You kidding? I wish I had a savant skill. It's just not in the cards for me. You might be thinking, but Steven, what about this video work you do? Can't you count that as a savant skill? I mean, I don't, not for me personally. Everything I do here, anyone can do. They just need to learn how. It's not fair to expect every single autistic person to have some sort of special talent or savant skill. I mean, even I still struggle with the most basic things sometimes.
Fun fact, whenever Steven has to do basic math, most of the time he has to crack out a calculator.
Not helping.
Much like the stereotypes with horn effects, those with halo effects need to be dispelled as well. Inclusion is more than just creating opportunities for the autistic community. It's also about treating us as equal to everyone else. And sometimes that means we don't set the bar very high or hold people to the highest regard all the time. The annoying thing about stereotypes, as much as we hate to admit it, is that sometimes they have some kernel of truth. They start out from observations of not just one person in a social group, but multiple of them, and finding commonalities between some of the people in question. It's true that each autistic person is their own individual, but sometimes we can't help but find common traits with other people. The part when it becomes a stereotype and a royal pain in the butt is when that observed trait is applied to every single person within a given group, without even trying to get to know each individual in said group, and are oftentimes over-exaggerated. They are used to classify and judge people before you even get to know them, which is why stereotypes are unfair and a good portion of the time, wrong.
Alright then, time to tackle those stereotypes. The first step, educate yourself on which stereotypes can affect you and how they can be proven wrong. You're already on the first step if this is about autism. Otherwise, you're going to have to look into what stereotypes could affect you personally and how it can affect how other people view you. Once you figure that out, the second step is rather easy. Just be yourself. You say that these stereotypes don't apply to you? Prove it. Actions speak louder than words. Or even if a stereotype does apply to you in some way, it should not define you as a whole. You are so much more than a label or a view of an outsider looking in. But what about a situation when someone is trying to use a stereotype to describe you? Because like it or not, it's going to happen if it hasn't already. Before you get too deep into it, determine whether that person is worth the time and effort. I know this sounds harsh, but there are those out there that would just use stereotypes and hateful comments just to hurt people and get attention. And there are those that are so fixed in their beliefs that they will stick to it no matter what you show them. Here's the thing though. You don't need the approval of every single person in the world. Only those that see your value. And for those that don't want to see your value and are not worth the time, well, that's their problem, not yours. How about a situation when someone is trying to learn more but doesn't know much beyond the stereotypes? Take it from me, do not take the statements personally. Trust me, I've made that mistake a few times, and it's only ever escalated the situation, not make it better. Instead, think of this as a learning opportunity for everybody. No progress can be made when someone is just scolding other people just for being ignorant. The other people are just going to tune that out. Progress can only be made when there is an open conversation with everyone involved. Which brings us to this: having that conversation. Share your experience with them. Allow them to ask you questions. Answer them to the best of your ability. And if you don't know an answer, just say you don't know. Just don't pretend that you have an answer that you don't actually have. This conversation will most likely not change the world, but to the person you're talking to, their view of the world could change, and they could start telling other people about it, and so on and so forth. What could start as a small ripple in a vast ocean could form to be enormous waves. Do not underestimate the power of a conversation. Lastly, and do not forget this part, remember to treat the people around you as just that, people. You want those around you to see past the stereotypes that surround you? You have to be willing to do the same for them. Lead by example, so that everyone, not just you, can break past these stereotypes and misunderstandings. When all is said and done, we are not just stereotypes, labels, molds, or caricatures. We are just people. No more, no less. And there you go, some basics on stereotypes and how to overcome them. I hope you enjoyed this video, but of course, if you have any more questions about this, want to share your personal experience, or maybe there's a stereotype in here that I haven't covered that you want to address, tell us about it in the comments section below. With that, it's time to end the video. Thank you very much for watching, everybody. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the bell icon, all that good stuff that makes Tostemac grow. And don't forget, I also stream on the weekends. So if I'm live and you got the time, come hang with us. Until the next video or live stream, see you later.